it's Lee from colouringqueen.net, and today I thought we'd do a bit of koala colouring, and I've selected the lovely postcard colouring book Animal Dreams, Japanese colouring book from Miki Takai, as my colouring page of choice, colouring postcard of choice. And I've got my Colleen's a 120 set. I thought I'd take them for a test drive on this. So the great thing about this postcard book is that you get the coloured inspirational image and you also get one to colour. So I'd love to replicate what Miki has done. I just adore her beautiful pastel shades, but I don't know that I'll be able to, but we'll give it a try. Now I was inspired to colour this picture because the lovely Moon from Coolcraft Book the other day, she coloured it, and I thought, gosh, that is so cute. I think I might need to colour that too. So I don't think I've used my Colleen since I swatched them out. I use my 72 set all the time, but I haven't cracked into my larger set since I swatched them, I think. So I think I'll just colour this Moon to start with. And excuse my squeaky chair, one of the bolt things from it fell out. And I put it aside somewhere safe so I could fix it, but I can't remember where that was. So I'll get this little Moon coloured up. Oh, they're going so smooth. Hello, Millie. No, Millie. 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 Oh, you are a rat bag. Come on, darling. Come on. Come on. Off, 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 off. Not your pencils, honey bunny. Not yours. You sit there then. Okay. Alright. We need to colour around the cat. She's actually become a lot more affectionate lately, so I don't like to reject her when she comes looking for cuddles, because she's not the cuddliest cat. She likes to sit next to you, but she doesn't really like to be touched too much. She doesn't like liberties taken. No, darling, that's Mummy's pencil. Sweetheart, you're making it harder for Mummy to colour. Meal? Seriously? I think you might need to go to the dentist, darling. You got sore gums, is that what you're trying to tell me? But yeah, so I don't like to discourage her if she's coming looking for love, because I'm willing to take anything that she's prepared to give. She's such a beautiful cat. I'm so glad we rescued her. And I have to think of a day for her birthday, because we got her, come on darling, we got her the day before my birthday, but she was already estimated to be 4 years old, so we don't really know when her birthday is. I'll just zoom you in a bit more. So hopefully we'll think of a good day, you know, to have her as her birthday, because we always do something for Charlie's birthday, so probably want to do something for Mills as well. And we don't want two birthdays next to each other, and it's not really her birthday, unless by some chance it was. It's her rescue day. So these Colleens are going on so smooth, even working around the cat. So I wanted to colour the koala, if Millie will allow me, in view of what Australia is going through at the moment with these god-awful bushfires. And I'm sure everyone around the world knows that Australia has got unprecedented heat and unprecedented bushfires at the moment, some of which are even converging between the states and joining up, and causing all sorts of panic and problems. And I just want to say first up, I've received lots of messages asking if I'm okay. I'm perfectly okay. We had bushfires in this area in about September. Millie, don't bite, Mummy. Alright, we're going to go this way now. Millie. Come on, sweetheart. You got to let Mummy colour. So we had bushfires in about September, and at other later stages last year, and there was a lot of smoke haze and whatnot, and there's been a few fires around this area and smoke haze and whatnot, but they have been put out really quickly, and with the exception of one or two on the Sunshine Coast and off an island near here, most of them have been very quickly put out and very quickly dealt with. So we've been quite lucky, and you know, most days there's no smoke or haze. Some days there is, but you know, most days we've been quite lucky here, which I'm incredibly grateful for, because as many of you know, I have asthma and I also have chronic bronchitis, which is exacerbated by pollution, and I won't be able to withstand sort of a lot of air pollution. And I'm so glad that we moved and I don't live in Sydney, because what those guys are going through is just horrific. Months of this terrible smoky haze, and yeah, I don't think I would, as well as the smoky haze, also the bushfires within the area, and I think I would have just, I don't know, either been in hospital or you know, worse if we'd been living there. So really grateful that, even though it kind of hasn't worked out for me personally living in Queensland, like job wise and you know, loneliness wise, but you know, health wise, I'm glad that we're here at the moment. But I feel really sorry for everyone else, not only in Sydney but around the rest of Australia. Now, that's not to say that we won't get more fires here. It's just at the moment it's really humid, and I think that's stopping a lot of the fires, so hopefully we won't get as many here. But what's been really wonderful is the whole sort of outpouring of support worldwide. And it's really good that when the chips are down, you know, countries just get on in and lend a hand without any sort of payoff or whatnot. So we've had America come in, the USA, and they've sent over fireys to help our guys and also to give them a bit of break. Some of these people have been doing this for months, most of which are volunteers, they don't get paid, and giving them a bit of a rest. So we've had the guys from the US come over. We've also had support from Canada, sending firemen as well, and we've also had support from New Zealand right from the start, sending 150 odd firemen on rotation so they don't get exhausted. So we've been extremely lucky with the support that worldwide people have given to Australia. I was reading the other day that the smoke is, you know, blowing over to New Zealand, 2,000 miles away, but also apparently it was blowing to Brazil, I think it was, which was like 12,000 miles away. And these fires can actually be seen from out of space, which is all quite amazing and terrifying at the same time. These just get smoother the second time you put them on. These are lovely pencils. I love my Colleen pencils. I've got a number of packets of the 72 set, but I had to buy these when the 120 came out. Now I know many of you have seen that there's a Colleen set of pastels. I don't have that, and I really don't know if they're the same as the ones that I've got here in my set. I have no idea. They're hard to get in Australia. I have to order them from overseas, and I just really don't have the funds to do that at this time, to get the pastels and see if they are the same as these ones. The other thing is that they don't, my 72 set didn't have a number on them, but this 120 set, they have numbers, so if someone's got a pastel set, they can look through my swatch and see what the number is, and that'll answer whether they're the different colours or not. But yeah, Australia has been incredibly lucky with the support that it's received worldwide from people. And as well as all that beautiful fire support, there's also been a lot of financial support, which is great. One of my former students is a volunteer fire lady, I guess. Is, I don't know, fire girl, I don't know, firewoman, that's probably better. And she has been working in relation to those Sydney fires and in New South Wales for months now, on end as a volunteer. And although there's been some grants that will be given out for volunteers, it doesn't apply to every volunteer, which is a shame. But not only has she been working like on the front line, you know, putting out these fires, but she's also been very good at keeping people informed on the fake news and whatnot that's going around. She's an amazing lady and one of my wonderful students. It's also amazing the amount of feel-good stories out of things like this. Like there's always someone that, you know, just goes beyond everyone's expectations, like the doctor who lost his whole practice that got burnt down on the south coast, and he just set up a caravan, and rather than evacuating the area, he continued to work and serve his patients that were unable to evacuate. Which, that's the thing, is a lot of people can't evacuate, and I've always said that I would never stay and fight, and I still say that to now. I would, and plus I've got asthma, so it's just not going to happen. But to me, I just don't value the house, etc. enough to stay and fight. However, some people can't leave because, for instance, they have a disability or an illness that means that they're not suitable for evacuation. So they might need constant care, etc., that's not able to be given to them on a naval ship or a helicopter, or their illness makes it difficult for them to travel, or, you know, there's just so many reasons. So a lot of people aren't able to leave anyway because of those things. A lot of people like to stay and fight and defend their property from the fire, and I think, you know, it's really admirable, but unless you really have a plan and you know what you're doing, the danger in that is often that you put not only your life at risk but also the emergency services. And to me, there's nothing worth saving, you know. Once I got David, Millie and Charlie and some ID out, I'd just walk away with, you know, without anything. You know, just, I'd like to be able to take all my colouring supplies and whatnot, but I don't think that would happen. I'd be weighed down completely. But, you know, one of my friends in Victoria, near where I grew up, she's got a farm with cattle and she breeds horses. And for her, she's staying and fighting. She's right in where the bushfires are merging between the states. And she's already had, you know, been prepared to evacuate a few times and has just got the livestock closer to her. Now, I can understand why she is staying and fighting, because her horses and her cattle are her livelihood, and transporting that many horses in horse floats and whatnot, and through the conditions where roads are closed, etc., could be more dangerous than actually staying. So I can understand why she's staying, but she's pretty worried sick, and I hope that, you know, she's going to be okay and that it can be contained. Now, where I used to live and where I grew up, there were fires the other day, and thankfully they got those contained really quickly. So that's good news. Fortunately, there was a few houses lost, but it's still pretty good news. But of course, the big issue is the overall devastation. You know, there's so many houses lost, there's so many people in evacuation centres, there's so many people that have no homes left to go back to, there's so many people that weren't insured, and that's for various reasons too, and I think I've touched on that before, so I won't bore you again. I've got Millie hair all up my nose, it's making it difficult to talk. And of course, you know, it'll take a year and a half for people to get back on their feet, and it's just such a long time, you know, especially if you've lost someone or you've lost animals or your home, or it's just such a long time to the claiming on insurance or trying to find an alternate accommodation, getting an insurance payout, rebuilding, and that's of course if there's no problems, and just the day to day, you know. So what's been really nice is how different communities and different people have come together and just done, you know, so much. So for example, the Islamic Society, the ladies and gentlemen there travelled for hours on end, you know, making food for the firefighters and the evacuees, and just spending, you know, hours travelling, putting themselves at risk to put on things and to make sure that people are fed and looked after. There's, you know, the doctor that's continued his practice out of a caravan to ensure that those people that can't leave, you know, can still get medically treated. There's a guy that helped people escape using his boat from the South Coast fires, instead of saving his own house, which burnt down. There's a woman that rescues kangaroos, and I'm colouring a koala, so I got confused. And she used to set them free into the bush when they were growing up, and anyway, as soon as the fires came the other day, she ended up with 40 odd kangaroos in her backyard. All the kangaroos that she'd rescued and their offspring sort of headed down and waited for her to look after them, which is just so adorable. I hope that story's true. I hope it's not fake news. And so now she's got all these little kangaroos to look after because they realised in their time of need that they needed their mum. And then there's the kids that have gone out to Kangaroo Island and collected the injured koalas that they could and bundled them up and took them to the vets on the mainland so that they could get medical attention. So there's all these wonderful groups of people that are going out of their way to donate food and clothing and whatnot, or rescue animals, or going out into the bush and making water feeders out of plumbing pipes. There's just such a wonderful community spirit out there where, you know, most of the people are really trying to do the right thing and really trying to help people. Now, of course, there's always going to be some jackasses. I really don't know how to say that any nicer. So unfortunately, there's been some people that have set up, you know, fake charities and whatnot on Facebook, etc. So just be wary if you're giving money that you donate to a recognisable charity, not someone that set up their Facebook page the day before. Now, I'm not saying that they're not genuine, but unfortunately there are a lot of scams out there. There's always people that will take advantage of a crisis. So just do your research and make sure that that they are genuine. Now, in the colouring community, there's going to be a digital PDF with, I think it's 30 illustrations, with money going to Wires, which is a wildlife organisation based in New South Wales. Now, Wires have said that they will also donate money to the other states, but as yet they haven't said what proportions that would be and what the terms of that would be. So there's lots of great things happening out there. If you're in Deborah Muller's colouring group, she created a free colouring page for the koalas. Monya Gates also did the same. And as I said, there's that digital colouring book coming out. The thing is, some of these animals have been affected, and the estimates are sort of really huge on how many wildlife or how much wildlife has been affected by the fires. It seems to be ranging between 480 million and a billion, which is a hell of a big figure. But that, you know, does include, my understanding, is, you know, little lizards and sort of all creatures great and small. So it's not 500 million koalas or kangaroos, it's all creatures. We don't have 500 million koalas. They were on the verge of becoming endangered anyway before these bushfires. And for those of you across the pond, the Australian koalas, one of the reasons that they're, you know, on the endangered list is because their food supply is really limited. I'm sure everyone knows that they eat eucalyptus leaves, but unfortunately the fussy little monkeys only eat a certain tree of eucalyptus leaves, so not every eucalyptus tree is a food source for them. And they also get their water from the eucalyptus leaves, so if it's dry and it's tinderbox conditions, then they don't have their food source. So that's another reason why they're endangered. They also get an illness, it's like one of those, I don't know, they get an illness, I think it's chlamydia, and like the illnesses, sexually transmitted disease that humans can get, koalas get. And that needs to be treated, because otherwise it's very serious for them, just like it is with humans too, really, if it's left untreated. But it also impacts on their life expectancy, as far as I know. Now, the koalas that unfortunately lost their lives or were badly injured in Kangaroo Island bushfires, many of those had been, that whole island actually was based on a koala population that was immune to chlamydia or had been bred not to get that disease, so they've done some fancy sciencey stuff. And so that's particularly devastating because they're only found on that island. So it's just very heartbreaking all round, really, with everything that's happened. But by the same token, there's so much good that's come of it. There's so many people supporting others and supporting strangers and opening up their hearts, homes and wallets to people that they don't even know. So that's all good stuff too. Gives you a bit of hope in humanity. I just feel sorry for people, you know, that don't have, you know, family and friends to go to, or don't have a wide support network or whatnot, because I can just imagine it's just would be terrifying and heartbreaking as well. But yeah, hopefully these fires will be under control soon, and you know, we can get on with the process of rebuilding for those affected. Just going to try and find which blue I want. Is it this blue? Now the Colleen's come pre-sharpened, but I don't like the point on it. It's too small. I like my point to be longer, so I'm going to sharpen him up. And I think the other thing that the bushfires have done is it's really drawn a lot of global attention to our beautiful and unique wildlife, like our lovely koalas. And that's really helped, because places that don't usually see donations are getting people from overseas donating to them. But I just would be careful about, if you do donate, you know, that you do check out that they're not a fly-by-night type organisation. Now the main ones, the main donation sites that you probably hear about is the one that was organised by Celeste Barber, which is over $50 million at the moment, I think, which is a massive amount of money. I just can't recall Australia getting that amount of money from other things previously, and it's just amazing. And I'd say it's all because of the worldwide support. The great thing about that is it goes to the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, but the negative about that is that it goes to the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. So what I mean by that is that it doesn't go to all of Australia or all of the states that are affected, and it's also under a trust deed, so without boring you with all the detail, you can only do with that money what's in the actual trust, or what the powers of the trust say that you can do. So to change that usually is quite a complex process, and I don't know that there's been any talk of actually changing that. Could be wrong. But the organiser of it, Celeste Barber, has come out and said, you know, that money will go here and there and whatnot, but the fact is that the money was set up to go to New South Wales RFS. Now they've come out and said when this fundraiser, I think, just got completely out of hand. I don't think they anticipated that the amount donated would ever reach these dizzying heights that it has become. So New South Wales RFS has said that they will donate to other states, but yet no word on what proportions or how they will do that. So, and the other big organisation that's generating quite a lot of donations is WIRES, which is the Wildlife Rescue organisation. They collect wildlife and care for it, etc. You ring them up. I've had to ring them many a times when I've had injured birds or whatnot, and they come around and collect them and look after them for you. Now they're, again, a fantastic charity, absolutely amazing organisation of volunteers that do a fabulous job, and again, they're New South Wales based. Now, New South Wales is only one state, and other states like Victoria, South Australia, Queensland to some extent, Tasmania, have all been affected by these horrific bushfires, especially. And so, because WIRES is only New South Wales based, generally it can only use that money in New South Wales, in the particular state. Now they've come out and said that they will also donate to the other states, but whether they're able to under the terms of their charity and in what amounts, I don't know. But they're a fantastic organisation. I'm not bagging any of these organisations at all. They do a fabulous job, but I just would point out that Australia is made up of a number of states, and it would be good if some of the other states, particularly Victoria, that's had such a rough time of things, benefited as well. And the other big charity that seems to be, or big organisation, the other big beneficiary of donations has been the Port Macquarie Animal Hospital. It's also based in New South Wales, and they initially just wanted $25,000 to install some, what do you call them, water feeders in different wildlife areas. Anyway, that raised, I think it's like $1.6 million. So, and now they're able to install more feeding stations for other animals as well. So fantastic stuff. Now I will list a few charities down below that are in Victoria or South Australia or whatnot, because those states have also been affected as Tasmania. If anyone is interested at all in making donations. Personally, for me, I never donate to things like, for these sorts of appeals, to the Red Cross or World Wildlife Fund, because they're both huge charities and they've got a big bucket, and when you donate money, there's nothing to say that that money is going to go where you think it's going to go. It could end up, you know, at any of the places that they support or give funding to. They also have a number of fees and whatnot, so for me, I like the smaller ones where I think I'm going to make more of a difference than the larger charities, but that's just me. And the government is stepping in and doing government grants and whatnot. Not everyone will be eligible, unfortunately, that's affected. And I mean, it's really hard, I guess, to figure out what to do. I think I need to blend that out with like a colourless blender or something, I'm not sure. don't know if I should make it darker purple or not. I might put a bit more purple here. I've gone over the little white dots because I'm blind as a bat. I've really got to get some new glasses. Really, it's just ridiculous. I can hardly see a thing lately. So I might add some darker blue to that. No, what will I do? I don't know. I don't know. Does anyone else get confused halfway through and not sure what to do? So I think I'll do this purple. But I think I need to blend that out a bit. The funny thing about this set of pencils is that it doesn't have a white in it, which I forgot when I opened it up. So I think I'll have to go find a white Prismacolor or something like that. And you might hear the washing machine on. I've turned it on in an attempt to do some housework and laundry. And I can hear it, but I don't know whether it comes through on the video. This is such a cute picture. The yellows went on super smooth, but I'm not finding the purples to go on as smooth. But I think they might still have a bit of waxy build-up on them. I need to get in there and sharpen them to the point that I like. So I'm not too keen on this stubby point. I think we all have our different ways of doing things. Now what I might do is go and have some lunch. Soon you'll hear my stomach rumble. And then we'll come back and do the rest, and I'll have to get a pencil to blend that. So I'll see you soon. So I'm back from lunch and I needed to charge up my battery, so while I was waiting for that to charge up, I coloured in the background just by putting some pencil softly over it. I wanted to see what it looked like, and I actually don't like the look, so I think I'll go over it with some of my pan pastels. I've got some lovely pastel colours in here, so I'll find one, and I think at the very last step I'll go over that. And I also realised that I told you a couple of wrong things, which, my apologies, I'm really not with it today. I didn't have much sleep last night. Well, I did sleep, but I had all these bad dreams, like scary dreams, that still scare me now. And even though I'd watched Criminal Minds, I'd sort of finished up with watching Keeping Up Appearances so I wouldn't be scaredy cat. But I seem to have still got bad dreams. But anyway, I told you a couple of wrong things. So the first wrong thing I told you was that this set of Colleen's doesn't have a white in it. And it does have a white in it. It's just that I've never liked the Colleen white pencil. And I always use either my Prismacolor, or in this case I'm using my Caran d'Ache white pencil, because I really don't. Yeah, I've never liked the white pencil in either my 72 set of Colleen's or in this larger set. So I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing there. And I also said the wrong thing about the koalas. I said that they were endangered, and they're actually not endangered currently. They're on what's called the vulnerable list, but there's thoughts or movement towards putting them on the endangered list. So I'm sorry I messed up there twice, and what can I say? I need more sleep. I'm so tired. So, yeah, David just got home from work and he was telling me about his day, and it was all I could do not to yawn. Well, I did yawn all the way through it. And he brought me a nice cup of coffee, and I still can't keep awake. I'm so tired. And it's only like 3:30 in the afternoon. But I think it's windy here, and I think it's sometimes these weather changes just make you feel tired. But I feel like I can barely hold a pencil. I'm ready to drop. Which is, I guess it's a good thing I don't have a job to go to, because I would have been falling at the desk and they'd be wondering what they're paying me for. But I don't think I'll get this finished on camera, but I will post a picture of it on either Instagram or up here on the community tab if I do get it finished. But it's so cute with the koalas on it. Now Millie walked on a little bit of it and left a smudgy on there, so I don't know. Don't really care when she does that, you know. Just so grateful to have her and Charlie that whatever they do is okay by me. I tried to get it off with a rubber, but it didn't really work out. But, you know, that's part of the joy of having pets, isn't it? And plus spitting fur out of everything. I get so much fur stuck on things. But again, I wouldn't swap it for the world because I just adore these two. It's just funny that they're both like long haired, and you know, there's a lot of brushing involved with both of them. Millie loves her face being brushed, but she doesn't like anywhere else being brushed. And Charlie likes his body being brushed, but doesn't like his face being brushed. It's like they can't be on the same page for me. But again, one of the challenges. I don't know what I'm going to do with Millie though, because I'm really going to have to shave her. I think she's got so many knots in her. She's a naughty girl. But hopefully I can get some more out. I've got some little nail scissors. Try and get some more knots out so I don't have to shave her. And hopefully because she's getting a little bit more affectionate, hopefully she'll allow me to get some knots out of her going forward. So we've had a lot of wind and a little bit of rain up here last night and today. I went to plant some things in my garden this morning, thinking I wouldn't need to water because it had rained overnight and seemed like it was pretty heavy, but it was really only the top layer of dirt that was wet, and as soon as you dug down like a centimetre, it was as dry as a bone. But on the good news, at least it filled up the pool a little bit, so we won't have to top that up, because the sun here is evaporating it quite a bit, which we never realised would lose that much water each day. I think it's 1/4 of an inch. So I came around and read the water meter this morning, so I hope I'm not going to have a heart attack when I see the water rates book. And this awful wind has blown over my herb garden. I had it planted in like a plastic trowel type thing on legs so that you don't have to bend over, and We did hear a thud last night and we couldn't quite figure out what it was. And then when I went down this morning, it was my herb garden. And because the trowel was quite heavy, I had to wait for David to come home from work so he can help me lift it up and try and put the herbs back in and hope that they'll still grow. I hope I haven't lost them forever, because some of them I've been growing for quite some time now, and I've got my basil in it and my parsley, my rosemary, my oregano. What else? Oh, some chives, a bit of dill. So I wouldn't like to lose it, because it's my main source for herbs. I started growing those because I used to get sick of going to the supermarket and buying a bunch and only using a little bit, and then it'd go off and I wouldn't need the rest. So I thought it's cheaper just to grow my own. Plus, you know, I've been really into the gardening, so it's, you know, just another thing to add to my little garden. So I think I'll probably finish the rest off on camera, being that it's quite small little details. But I probably should do the koala at least, because we're doing koala colouring. Oh, you're still here. That white pencil could certainly do with a bit of a sharpen. So we'll do the little koala. Now I was thinking some cool greys and maybe some Frenchy type greys. So, I mean, in reality, koalas have got massive amounts of different shades of greys and browns on their fur, but kind of want it to look cutesy rather than realistic. I totally suck at colouring animals. I really must learn one day how to do fur and feathers and things like all the things I've been avoiding. I figure just try and learn a couple of things, and then, you know, when you're really confident, you know, progress further. So if it wasn't for the bushfires, I still wouldn't be colouring a koala, because I'm nowhere near ready. But anyway, we'll give it a shot. And I'm doing this on purpose, scumbling, just to show the texture of the fur. I have no idea if that's what you're meant to do. Please don't look to me for any advice or instruction, because I really don't know. But I'm sure there's other people out there that are colouring koalas like a boss, which you could follow, and they'll teach you lots of tricks. But I just thought with the scumbling you kind of get a bit of white in and kind of looks textured, and if I go over it in a different shade of grey, you know, that might add to how the little koala is meant to look on a cutesy picture rather than a realistic koala, which I know some members of the community just do the most beautiful realistic animals. You know, they're just amazing. Like people like Dee Dee Willingham, she makes everything look effortless, but I'm sure it must have taken her years, decades to learn the skills to make it look so easy, because I think most people that are really, really good at something, you know, spend a lot of time practicing and honing their skills. Well, I hope so, because there might be some hope for me if I practice, but I can't think of anyone at the moment that has a koala colouring tutorial, but no doubt there is somebody on YouTube or elsewhere that has one. I know Elise from Kitten Clouder has a class on colouring a koala, but that's a paid class, it's not a free tutorial. I can't think of anyone online, but I'm sure with the release of a lot of free colouring pages that are koala themed, that someone will do a video and show you how to colour a koala properly. But mine's just a fun little koala, and I have no idea how to colour him, but we'll just give it a go. I don't know why I said him either. I'm really tired. And how can it be only 3:30 and you need a nap? So usually I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I basically get up when David leaves, like as soon as he leaves out the door I get up. And that's on purpose because he likes his morning time, so if I'm awake it kind of annoys him if I'm awake and he needs to talk to me. So as soon as I hear him get out the door, I just wake up and, ooh, yuck. Ooh, that's wrong, but I'll put it in there just so that they're all the same, but that's definitely the wrong colour that I picked up there. I'm going to have to get rid of that somehow. What are we going to go with to get rid of it? Maybe cream. Yeah, but this morning I got up and I read the news and stuff for a while, about 5 o'clock, and had a cup of coffee, and then I was still really tired, so I went back to bed, which I never do, so, and I think also the weather, it's been very windy, and I've had the bad dreams, and I don't know, I really don't know what it is, but I'm just so tired. I gotta find like a tanny colour for the koala, and maybe a bit of black. So I've got these ones, so I'm thinking, didn't want really that dark, maybe that one. Koalas are so cute. Just let me know in the comments below if you've ever seen a koala. I have heaps of times. Cuddled a koala. They're beautiful. They're very strong. Their little claws are actually quite strong too, but at the moment I'm sure that most little koalas in Australia are just very frightened. But they are such beautiful creatures. I can't help but calling them koala bears, because when I was a kid at school, that's what we called them, was koala bears. And before you correct me in the comments below, I do know that they're a marsupial and therefore not a bear, but to me, calling them a koala bear is kind of as natural as bees and honey, because that's what we, you know, called them when I was a kid. So popped a little bit of brown in there, but I'm not really very happy with that, so I think I might put some more grey in. Yeah, I can't seem to find the right look of grey that I want in the Colleens. So this is more of a blue grey. So I think I'm probably going to have to go black with this, but we'll see. And I'm still just doing that scumbling. As I said, I'm sure that there are people that have some better ways of doing the fur. I just haven't coloured a lot of animals, and I don't think I've ever coloured a bird. Don't know, that's probably surprising to you guys, seeing I've got so many pictures and books of animals, but I just love looking at them. Alright, I think I might pop the white in just so you can see what this Colleen white's like. And at the moment it's all very pencil-y. It really hasn't been blended very well, the whole picture, but I will work on it off camera and blend it all up and whatnot, and hopefully she'll look cute as a little bear button when I'm finished with her. But this is the Colleen white pencil, and look, usually I don't like it because I find it doesn't blend that well, but today it seems to be blending better than what it normally does for me, so maybe it's not so bad. But there's quite a lot of texture on this postcard, and I'm going to have to add more layers to it if I want to blend it out completely. But I'm going to finish that off screen, and I shall come back and show you what it looks like when I've finished playing with it. Until next time, happy colouring.